Superman and Lois, Season 3, Episode 5. Are we going on hiatus soon? Feels weird. We're like almost halfway through the season. It feels like it just started. Weird. I don't know. This show's good. Holy cow, this might be my favorite episode of the season so far. I think this did everything perfectly for a bunch of characters, including one of my favorite characters. We'll get to that in a minute. It felt the most CW, but the most CW with the biggest budget possible, which is still amazing to think. I am never not surprised how much money actually is put behind this show. I guess the only other thing airing is like Riverdale and The Flash, and those don't cost a lot, and you can really tell that. So, if this is going to be the premier, show on the channel, go for it. The other thing is, the day this video is going out and the day I'm recording it, the new HBO Max Discovery Warner Brothers bullshit shenanigan was just announced. It's called Max. They're changing HBO Max to just simply be called Max. And I think what that means is this is going to be the last season. I know like James Gunn and the CW and Tyler were like, we can go a little while longer. I don't think they're going to renew. I can't imagine that being the case. They canceled everything else. The Flash is ending. This feels like the last holdout of another era, which is so bizarre. Either way, it's a good show. This episode was fun. It delves into a lot of different stuff that I wasn't expecting the show to dive into. In particular, the Lois and Clark storyline is very quiet this episode. There's one big battle that kind of happens where Superman fights Deadline, which is a pretty nice pull. I mean, why not? We don't need to do all the big bats. Just get Deadline in there. Onomatopoeia's in there too. Bruno Mannheim is stealing Clark's blood to create powerful people. But as he has that one fight, we see that Lois is going to Bruno Mannheim's hospital that he built, and a lot of cool stuff happened in that moment. A lot of Lois Lane shenanigans and a lot of Clark Kent shenanigans. I really like that whole dynamic and that whole thing. She is like, I will rest when I'm dead, essentially is her motto. So she's going to try to sneak around the hospital to get answers. And in doing so, she confronts Bruno Mannheim. She runs right into him. And he's like, well, I shouldn't be surprised that you're snooping around. He's like, come on, let me show you something. Shows her this huge operating, a factory. It looks like a big factory, this operation, whatever room. It looks like it's the biggest set ever for a Superman and Lois episode. Big room that looks real. And he's like, I worked hard to get here. Do you think when I was young that an organization like this would exist for my mother who was sick in the suicide slums? No, it wouldn't. I'm helping my community. And I'm going to do my best to help you. But if you want to type your little bullshit up, I'll bring you down. So stop doing that. And I'm like, cool. He's now confronted 3 of our cast members. He's threatening. He's the face of something. I do think there's going to be a rug pull with him, and we're going to have an actual big bad show up. I know they cast Lex Luthor. I don't know. It's starting to feel like they're going the Cadmus route, where it's oh, we're going to be building a big bad, and Lex is going to be behind everything because we have the blood, and what the hell? They have Bizarro's body. They dug it up. They have the Bizarro Superman body. They're going to be making, I think they're going to be making a clone, or they're just going to reawaken the Bizarro body to maybe have me Bizarro thoughts or something. Hard to say. Going to be weird to see where that goes, but that's a good storyline for Lois that works for her character. Even when she's on her second session of chemo, she's like, forget it. I gotta know what's going on with this guy. And what's a great Clark moment in that scene too, is he's just waiting for Lois to do her thing. And these 2 older ladies are like, is this your first time? He's like, no, I'm just here to support my wife. And then he chats up these 2 ladies who are going through this experience, just talking about their relationships with their family, how this feels, the weight of it all, how hard it is to feel like you want to keep going. And I'm like, this is just sweet. Name another Superman property on live action that has a moment where Clark just gets to see something he can't save. Not even just their hopes, their ambitions, but just their bodies. He can't help them. He just has to sit and listen and try to understand that. It is it's a really good moment, and I think it solidifies, if you're still not sold, that Tyler is this generation's Superman. I'm super excited for Superman Legacy. It's going to be hard to beat Tyler in the modern era, because I think aging up Superman works in today's demographic. I guess it's just like, I'm 25 years old, so when James Gunn says we're going to have like a 25-ish year old Superman, I'm like, I can't see somebody my age having like the morals of Superman authentically, like being in that era, but Tyler is doing it well. It does make me happy. That's a really cool storyline, and having him have those quiet moments is great, but we get a lot of play from the rest of the cast. A lot of things happen that you're not really expecting. Couple things right off the bat. The first one, we go like ATVing for a minute with Sam and Natalie. Why? I don't know. I don't know why that happened. But we have really big quads, military grade quads. Dude, what are you doing? And they just go around the farm, which begged another question I had watching this. Is this an operating farm? Are they farming? Is Clark going out and like working the fields every day? I don't understand, because it looks like they have crops. But who's doing that? The kids aren't doing it. Lois isn't doing it. Is it just Clark like every 10 seconds just fixing something? I don't know. Insane. But when they're done their ride, they try to head back to the house, and guess who Jordan brought over? Oh, what's the kid's name? I forget. But you remember when they went to the party a couple episodes ago, and Nat met this really cute guy, and they had to leave before he got her number. And he just showed up because he found Sarah online, and he invited himself here, and they're going to go to the high school dance. And I'm like, okay, sure. Is he not worried that she was in a college course and now she's in a high school? Okay, fine. And that's the big set piece for this episode, is the high school dance that's happening in some barn. And it leads to a bunch of things that are revealed and are happening. One of which is, we see that Candace is going to have to go live with her aunt in another county. And John's like, oh no, long distance, is that going to work? Who's to say? Because he might have a new gig lined up. He might be going to work with Kyle at the fire department, which I'm like, yes, Kyle doing some cool stuff. Kyle's the MVP of this episode again. We'll get to him in a minute here. But now that John has other obligations, he doesn't know what's the most important to him. Does he want to be with Candace? Does he want to do the firefighting stuff? How is he going to figure out this part in his life? What I think is going to happen is a fire is going to activate John's power somehow. We'll get to that later in the season, hopefully, but we'll see what happens. But Candace is like, you cannot give up this opportunity for me. If this is goodbye, I get it. You and your family have done so much for me, more than I could have asked for. We could try to make it work, but who knows what's going to happen. Right? A sweet little moment like that. Really cute. And then this guy that Natalie's with tries to kiss her, and she freaks out and has a heart-to-heart moment with Sam, and she calls him Grandpa, and he's like, wow, nice. And I'm like, wow, nice. Sweetness all around. That was a really heartfelt moment. And maybe that's just like, every moment in this was so heartfelt. Clark talking to everybody, stuff with Lois later on. It all worked out really well, and it made me really happy. Jordan didn't do a lot this episode. He didn't really like have his like thing with Sarah. They're just still gonna be friends, but Sarah is like comforting her classmate, Junior. So the previous mayor, George Dean, who was killed by onomatopoeia and just looked like Gene Hackman in these Superman movies. He was killed, but his son Junior, which I guess is his name, is confronting Lana like, you're a bad mayor and you got my father killed. And Sarah goes to comfort him. And look, Sarah's older than the boys. I know that. This kid looks like he's 30. I'm sorry. The actor they got playing Junior, he looks like he's 30 years old. He does not look like he's in high school. Like, I'm already not believing the lead characters are in high school. They all look like they're 20. But this kid looks older than them, and he's like 6 feet tall. And when Sarah's next to him, she's like up to his waist. And I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, it's such a weird storyline, but she helps him feel better. A nice little moment. You think Lana's going to be mad, but she's like, I understand. I hope he figures out what I'm doing here. And she was going to run a story kind of like showing what the mayor did. But then she's like, what's the point? It's just going to do more harm than good. Because good outweighs the bad, I guess. I don't know. It's fun. And it's a good little moment, but there were two moments in particular that I really liked in this episode. So let's talk about Kyle for a minute. He gives John the opportunity to work at the fire station. Love that. Made me so happy. But he's committing to his Chrissy bit, and I love it. He's like, man, this is a boring party. I know what to do. I know how to make this party poppin' for these 16-year-olds. I'll play some old school music. Thank you, dude. Oh, that was the sweetest moment. The sweetest moment of this episode is just Kyle going up to the DJ, getting him to play some old school pop, and he just starts dancing like an old dad, and it is the hottest thing you've ever seen. You know, they're playing their Steven Sanchez, but as soon as Kyle steps up and plays some funky music, white boy, we're all happy. Oh, he looks great. And then Chrissy's like, oh my God, I can't believe I actually want to go dance with him. And all the kids are like, you go, Kyle. We love you, man. You're awesome. I'm like, oh, that's it. This is the point. You don't even have to show me Superman. Just give me Kyle just being a hot dad, doing his best. And he hooks up with Chrissy again, and it looks like they're going to start a romance. And I'm like, yeah, cool. That's something for Kyle to do, I guess. She is around your age, a little bit younger. Is she? Okay, do we think she is closer to the kid's age or to Kyle and Lana's age? That's a good question. Because everybody looks like they're 37 or 21. Nobody looks like they're in between anything else. It is insane, but it's a sweet little moment. It's nice. We do end the episode because Lois couldn't make it to the dance. Well, we have a little dance session at the Kent farm, and we see, Lois dances with Clark. We see John dancing with Candace. Jordan cuts in to dance with his mom. It's a sweet little moment. I really like the chemistry between Alex and Bitsy. They really get each other. Like, they're a really fun pair. It's nice to see that kid just loosen up a bit. It's really fun. We also signed Sam up for like a dating service. Like Senior Swipe, I think is what it was called. Okay. I'm on board. You sold me, guys. This was a great episode. I was really happy. It did everything right. Just really cute, intimate moments with all the characters. Everybody kind of got their end proper. It was really nice, and I'm very excited to see what the next episode's going to look like. It was sweet. It was easy. Very few conflicts. Just people like, romancing is hard. Love is hard. Let's try. Let's dance. Let's have fun. Let's celebrate life the best way we can. And isn't that just the key to Superman? Just celebrating life and all the wonders it has to offer. I think so, and I'm glad it did that. So that is going to do it for this review of Superman and Lois. Now, thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and then I'll catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.